Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about how to zero waste your kitchen. I'm going to give you guys lots and lots of tips as well as some information on what the zero waste lifestyle actually is. So let's get started with a course overview. So we're going to talk about, well, what is zero waste? What does it mean? We're going to evaluate your kitchen, what you have in it that does have plastic and is creating a lot of plastic waste. We're going to talk about the steps to implementing a zero waste kitchen. We're going to talk about where to start. And also, once you've implemented all of these strategies, where to go from there, like going further. And then I'll give you guys some resources at the end of the course that you can delve into to get more ideas, become inspired, etc. So we're going to talk about just what is zero waste, first of all. When people hear zero waste, does it really mean you're creating zero waste? Not exactly, but it's a blanket term used for people who don't buy or use anything with plastic. So plastic's the key here. We have so much plastic floating around in the oceans that people that are trying to become zero waste are trying to use zero plastic. Is that really possible in this world that we live in? Not exactly, because plastic is in everything. It's in every electronic device you have. A lot of the things that you buy that are zero waste, that are reusable things, are made from like hardy plastics, such as like this plastic top to my reusable water bottle. But the goal is to get close to not disposing of any plastic. So zero wasters basically buy products made completely from either recyclable, reusable, or completely biodegradable material. So once again, they don't use just glass or other products. They can use plastic, biodegradable utensils made from plant materials. So it's not entirely zero waste because you're still producing some waste. But they aim to buy products that they can use over and over again, thus reducing or temporarily eliminating their waste. So that's like the main goal, is buying products that you can use over and over and over again so you stop creating waste. So how this happens is through extremely small steps and small changes. It can be very overwhelming. When you delve into the world of zero waste, you can get completely overwhelmed with all of the changes you have to make. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can just take one change at a time. And change doesn't happen overnight. It happens over a series of weeks, months, years. But even small changes can go a long way. So making one change can make a huge difference. You can figure out how much, by just bringing your own water bottle, how much plastic you can save from going into the landfills. So, the goals of this course are to give you simple ideas on how you can zero waste your kitchen. So we're just going to be specifically talking about kitchen items, food items, storage items, items like utensils you eat with, Tupperware you store things in, stuff like that. And we're going to give you ideas, tips, and ways to save money in the process, because in the long run, the zero waste lifestyle, though it may be a little bit more difficult to implement, is cheaper. So what it looks like, here's just some ideas of zero waste and what it looks like. Over here, reusable bags, storing bulk items in glass containers in your pantry, refillable, reusable cleaning supplies, eco-friendly sponges and brushes. Here we have a reusable a sandwich bag, which is made out of really, really, really hardy silicone, so it doesn't have to be thrown away. Also, if we do get plastic bags, we use this drying rack to wash and dry our plastic bags and reuse them again. And these are just some of our zero waste dish soap, laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent, all from a company that I'll talk about later. But these are just some ideas. So the first step is really to just evaluate your kitchen. What do you have in it? What's plastic? What's not? What do you need to change? Those kind of things. So you want to evaluate where you're producing the most plastic waste. Okay, that's probably where you want to start. So if you're using plastic water bottles every day, that might be something you want to change first. But we're going to evaluate everything in your kitchen. And I'm going to give you guys tips on how to change those things to a zero waste option. So I'm going to list off a bunch of zero waste items. And once again, they're not exactly zero waste. Okay, so eventually they're going to end up in the landfill when they get ripped or broken or whatever. But these items are designed to be used over and over and over again to reduce your waste. So we've got reusable grocery bags, probably the very first step, the thing you see the most at the grocery store. There are always racks and racks of reusable bags. Reusable produce and or bulk bags. So these are produce bags or bulk bags where you can go to the produce section and instead of using a plastic bag, you can just put your fruit into a reusable produce bag. Also, bulk bags for like flour or just bringing a jar to fill up your jar with flour. Reusable or compostable straws. Some people don't like the reusable straws. That's okay. There's compostable ones. There's paper ones. But reusable is best because you can use them over and over. They come in all different types of materials, from silicone to hard plastic to metal to bamboo. Actually, bamboo is my favorite. Reusable water bottles. There's a million options out there. Reusable to-go coffee mugs, hot or cold. I use my cold one for cold coffee and for smoothies, so it's good. Plastic-free or nearly pressed plastic-free food storage. Tupperware, so glass is probably the best storage options. Plastic-free food storage for bulk items such as rice, beans, and nuts. Usually, and you'll see an example later, but I store all of these in glass jars. You don't need to buy glass jars. As you use glass jars for different items at the grocery store, you can use those as your bulk storage. And plastic-free dishwashing soap, dish soap and dishwasher detergent. There are options out there, but most of the options come from refillable stores. So stores that can refill these things for you. There's also local companies that are, there's one in the Bay Area here, but they're all over, especially in California, for refilling all of your cleaning supplies. So plastic for your sustainable dish brushes and sponges, reusable or compostable utensils. So these next couple are for parties or big events where you want to be a little bit more eco-friendly and produce less trash. I just want to say, if you don't compost and you don't have a compost, go for the reusable utensils. So just your regular utensils, or get a set of ones that you're going to wash and reuse. Reusable or compostable plates, reusable or compostable cups. A compost is a zero waste item that for your kitchen that we use all the time. It's amazing. Zero waste lunch bags, sandwich bags, or Tupperware. Reusable paper towels and dish towels. Chemical-free plastic-free kitchen cleaners. So things you use to clean your kitchen with, multi-surface cleaner, floor cleaner, or any other cleaner used in your kitchen, should also be plastic-free. So we'll talk about some of those. I'm just going to talk about right now like the easiest switch you can make of these items that I just described are the reusable coffee cup and the reusable water bottle. Also, I create a kit in my car that I leave in my car with a reusable bamboo utensil for takeout. So if I ever have to get takeout and I don't want to use plastic utensils, I have my own. These are compostable paper straws and my metal straw, all kept in a reusable, washable sandwich bag that I leave in my purse. So we're going to evaluate the plastic in your kitchen now. It's super important to see which areas that you need to change. Which areas are you producing the most plastic? Which areas can you make the changes easiest? So we're going to evaluate some of the food items and other items you buy in your kitchen that come in plastic. I'm going to give you a bit of an example. So you're going to write down all of the food items you buy that come in plastic, or any other items for that matter. Write down any ideas for a zero waste option. So I just gave an example of sliced bread comes in plastic. Bread you buy at the store comes in plastic. So some possible zero waste options are buying bread from a local baker or farmer's market and putting it in a reusable bag or wrapped in paper that's composted later, or making your own bread made from flour you get in the bulk section of the grocery store and other plastic-free ingredients you get from the grocery store. So that's just an example. If you don't know a zero waste option, put a big question mark. or put a I need to research this, or I need to look up the answer to a plastic-free option. Because a lot of times a quick Google search or following someone on Instagram that is a zero waste person will have lots and lots and lots of ideas. So take some time, write down any and all of the food options that come in plastic, including cereals, any packaged food, most packaged food comes in plastic. So write down everything that you have in your kitchen, including cleaners that come in plastic, and what their possible zero waste option could be. If you don't know, I'm also going to give you lots of tips in the coming slides. All right, so steps to a zero waste kitchen. So a zero waste kitchen, I think what I love most about it is not only is it decreasing waste, but it also naturally lends itself to a really healthy way of eating, because most zero waste food items come directly from nature. They're whole foods in their natural form, and that ends up being the food that's the healthiest. It has the most nutrient content, a lot of great phytochemicals that help support your health. It's also anti-inflammatory. So remember, you don't have to change everything overnight, but we're going to give you lots of steps for changing them slowly. So step 1, swap out some of your plastic disposable kitchen items for a zero waste option. So like I had mentioned before, simple swaps: a reusable coffee mug, a reusable water bottle, reusable utensils, reusable straws, that kind of thing. Also, reusable sandwich bags, reusable grocery bags, etc. All of those that I listed on the previous slides, you can use and swap them out. And just a note, you don't have to do this overnight. You can buy one reusable item, get used to using it, get used to implementing into your life, and then use another one, swap out another one. So steps 2, start buying food that is not packaged in plastic. Buy produce from your farmer's market, buy produce from your grocery store that isn't packaged in plastic, and put it in your own produce bag. Buy your produce from a local community supported agriculture, which is a CSA. A lot of times you can ask local farms for a CSA box. They'll either send it to you or you can pick it up at your local farmer's market. And a lot of times that decreases the amount of plastic. Purchase food items in the bulk section of the grocery store and bring your own bags. Flours, sugars, beans, nuts, popcorn. I mean, they have homemade granola in the bulk section. Some bulk sections have peanut butter and olive oil and vinegar, and that you can refill and put in your own containers. And pasta, and I mean, you name it, bulk sections are getting better and better at giving you an option, a food option that is zero waste. And also just find refill options for certain food items you use all the time. An example is olive oil. We use olive oil all the time, and we have a local olive oil store that will refill your bottles for you. So things like that. I know Whole Foods has peanut almond butter from Whole Foods. You can just grind it yourself, put it in your own container, and you don't have to use any plastic. So most food items that don't come in plastic do require a bit more of preparation and cooking, but I keep reminding myself that if it has to be prepared, it's most likely the healthiest food. So yes, this might require you to start getting rid of all of that packaged food, but in the end, it's healthy for the planet and it's healthy for you. And once again, one step at a time. If you eat potato chips all the time, and cereal and any other packaged items, cookies, just get rid of one and keep it out of your diet for a minimum of a month, and then move on to something else. This is not an overnight thing. I just want to keep reminding you, don't get overwhelmed. So step 3, after you've done those 2 things, is purchase cleaning supplies from a refillable company. Here in the Bay Area, Feelgood.co is a great company that you can refill all your cleaning items. They even have a lot of refillable things like shampoo, conditioner, soap, you name it. So they're good to check out. So I would research, when you get to the cleaning supplies step, I would research if you have any local companies that will refill some of your cleaning supplies. If you don't, you can continue buying what you buy, which is also fine, but you can also make your own, and a lot of them are very easy. There's a lot of do-it-yourself recipes online or on Pinterest. Something that's so simple is we use our orange and lemon peels from the yard, and we fill it to the top, and we fill it to the top with white vinegar. We let that infuse for a minimum of a month. It helps to get the vinegar smell out of it, and it helps it smell like lemon. Lemon's also a great cleaner as long with vinegar. We then use that liquid. We fill a container with a spray bottle with half of the vinegar, half water, and any essential oils, anything we want that smells good. Generally, because we infuse it in lemon, I use lemon essential oil, but you can use rosemary, you can use lavender, you can use orange, you can use any kinds that you like. And they're just great, really simple ways to cut down on plastic waste. All right, step 4. Store your food items in reusable food containers, such as large mason jars. So I just have some examples. I buy all this, excuse me, technical difficulties. I use these jars to store my bulk items, and I use my refillable bags to get the bulk items from the grocery store. I then put them and store them in jars. This is my fridge. You can see it's not completely plastic free because up here I do have a big thing of maple syrup in hard plastic. And of course my ghee comes wrapped in this massive thing of plastic. But like I said, sometimes you just can't avoid it. But for the most part, we have things we store things in our fridge in plastic-free containers, jars, glass containers, bowls. All our produce we got at the farmer's market and put it in produce bags and then stored it. We even have bone broth in there that's in glass. A lot of our milk and dairy products we buy from the grocery store in glass. So a lot of grocery stores now have options for buying your milk and other dairy items in glass and then returning them to the grocery store. So that's a good option as well. All right. So let's move on. Where do you start? So those are a lot of steps. It's really, really hard to figure out, okay, where do I start? But we're going to start with, just start small. Bring a reusable water bottle with you wherever you go. I mean, that is where I started. Reusable coffee cup, reusable water bottle. I leave them in my car. When they get dirty, I take them out, clean them, and put them right back in. Also, bringing your own grocery bags. That's a great place to start. If you can do that consistently, leave them in your car, bring produce and grocery bags to the store every time you go, you're on your way. You're already eliminating a ton of trash. So make one change and make it a goal to make another change a month later. So do it slowly. Start small and start slowly. So it takes about 3 weeks to create a habit. So once you've implemented a change for 3 to 4 weeks and you feel like it's routine and you feel like you're good, then you can make another change. It's just like getting rid of that packaged food. Get rid of the potato chips. Wait a month, see how it's going. Replace it with maybe homemade oatmeal or homemade granola that you bought the oats from the bulk section in your reusable bag. Just little things like that. And then make another change a month later once you feel comfortable and in your routine. So let's make some goals for the next 3 months. This is kind of what I want you to ask yourself. So what resources do you need to accomplish this goal? By that I mean, do you need to buy reusable bags? Do you need to buy a reusable product? Or do you already have it? You just need to figure out how to implement it into your life. So say you already have a reusable water bottle, but you don't use it. Figure out a way to use it. Maybe put it in your car, put it in a place you can see, make it a routine right next to your refrigerator or wherever you fill up your water. Make it a routine to fill it up every morning and bring it with you. Leave it in your purse. Those kinds of things. So what resources, if any, do you need to change this? And then are there any limitations or roadblocks you think you might face when attempting to accomplish this goal? And how much you overcome that? Maybe it's a monetary thing. Maybe you don't have enough money to buy some of these really expensive reusable water bottles. So make a list of what you need and how much everything costs and say, hey, this month I'm just going to buy one reusable grocery bag. Just one. They're about $2. And next month I'll buy another one. Or next month I'll save up and buy a reusable water bottle for $15. That kind of thing. So if there are any limitations to making these changes, let's figure out what they are and find some solutions. Another thing is you may not have a refillable place. You may not have a bulk section at your grocery store. Okay, that's okay. Let's do some research. If it turns up that there's just nothing, that's something that you can say, hey, I tried, but let's move on to the next thing. So answer these 2 questions for your other 2 goals, and we're going to just make a 3-month plan. So you're going to do goal 1 in the first month. In the second month, you're going to do goal 2, and in the third month, you're going to do goal 3. And you're just going to keep doing that until all of these changes have been made. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. It just, one step, one small thing makes a big difference. So now, if you'd like to go further, after you've done all of the steps that we mentioned, and you've implemented all of your goals, there are ways to go further and further and further. So after you make some initial swaps, it's easy to get stuck and stop moving forward. So the good news is that there's more and more companies that are switching to zero waste models, which means it gets easier for you to make changes. For instance, have you visited your local restaurant lately? Have they swapped out their straws? I've noticed about half of our local restaurants have now swapped out to paper compostable straws instead of plastic. And it's great to see that. So as these changes happen, it also just makes it easier for you, which is great. But some things you can do to go further is, number 1, bring your own to-go containers for takeout. Most restaurants will fill them if you ask. I do suggest calling ahead and saying, hey, if I bring my own to-go container, will you put my to-go order in my container? Because some say that it's a health hazard, when in fact it's not, if you check the laws. So it's not, but call ahead and ask, because they may or may not do it. And if they don't, that's just the way it is right now. Soon we'll all be taking our own takeout containers. But bring your own to-go containers. Give it a shot. Always bring reusable utensils, napkins, and straws to use when you're eating out or getting takeout. So like I said, I just make a little bag that I put inside my purse that has reusable utensils, reusable straws, a little reusable sandwich bag. Plan ahead when it comes to food. So if you're visiting the grocery store, just make sure to bring your own bags, your own produce bags, any other reusable containers you need to fill, and keep a stash in your car so you don't forget, because there's been many days where I've forgotten. So if you plan to eat out, make sure you bring a reusable straw, utensils, or napkins if you know that restaurant uses only plastic options. Call ahead and ask if they're willing to put your takeout order in your container, like I said before, and make sure your reusable lunch bags and containers are cleaned and ready to use for the following day. So if you bring your own lunch to work, make sure all of those items are ready for you. Practice minimalism. Buy only what you need and will use on a regular basis. Don't fall into those gimmicks. I mean, the zero waste community is just another big gimmick to get you to buy their zero waste products that you end up not using and throwing away. Reusable bags are a main thing. A lot of companies now just give you a reusable bag, and then you end up with this massive storage container of reusable bags that you never use and then end up throwing out. So practice minimalism. Buy only what you need and what you think you're going to use on a regular basis. It'll cut down on your waste, make it easier to keep your kitchen clean, and will also simplify your life. So get in a zero waste routine. Once you're used to using zero waste options, you have your go-to zero waste stores, supplies, and restaurants, it'll become easy and routine, and you won't have to think about it. Once you're using those reusable bags every day, once you're going to the coffee shop with your reusable cup and everybody knows you there, once you're refilling your bottle wherever you go and making sure you're carrying it around, just little things like that become habit, and then you don't think about them. And the other thing is once you find your stores that do refills, you never have to think again. You're like, okay, boom, right to the bulk section, get exactly what you need, go to the checkout, check out, and you've bought nothing with plastic. It's amazing. So in conclusion, once you get into this routine, like I just said, it's going to become second nature. It's not going to seem like a challenge. Making the change seems like a challenge. But once you make that change, it becomes habit and you don't even think about it. So it's not going to be a burden. That's why I've been talking about one change at a time and going slowly to make those changes. Because otherwise you're going to overwhelm yourself. So it's also important not to stress when you can't or don't use a zero waste option. A lot of people feel super guilty. I am one of those people. But sometimes there's not an option. Sometimes you forgot your grocery bags. It just happens, and you can't just go all the way home. It's a waste of time, a waste of money. So you have to use plastic bags. It's okay. So produce bags. Sometimes everything's in the laundry, and you're like, nothing. That's okay too. So don't stress. It happens to everyone. We live in a society that's just completely covered in plastic, and it's just easier, and that's okay. So for now, it's okay, and it will always be okay. Also, celebrate your wins and accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes. That's okay, but celebrate the little changes that you do. You should find ways to celebrate. And we live in a world, remember, that has plastic everywhere. And it's ingrained into our culture, our communities, our businesses. It's easy and cheap, which is why it's so widely available and used. So please don't beat yourself up when you have to buy that plastic item. It happens. Or you forget to bring your straw and you forget to tell the waitress not to give you a plastic one. It's okay. We all make mistakes, but the point is you just need to try. Okay, so now, lastly, I'm going to give you a couple resources. Two of my favorite books are 101 Ways to Go Zero Waste by Catherine Kellogg, and Zero Waste Home has been my go-to since day one by Bae Johnson. These are the Instagram accounts that I really like and I follow. Zero Waste Kitchen, Going Zero Waste, Ain't No Planet B, Zero Wasted MN, Zero Waste Community, and Zero Waste Chef. All of those are great accounts to give you great ideas and products and reviews of products and all of that kind of stuff. If you're here in the Bay Area, these two companies are my go-to every time. Feelgood.co, I use it for all of my zero waste bathroom supplies as well as my zero waste kitchen and cleaning supplies. Amphora is also a great company to look up, especially if you're in Lafayette. They're in Lafayette, and I believe they're in one more location. I want to say Oakland, but don't quote me on that. They give you refillable olive oil bottles, and you can just bring it in, get it refilled. They also have refillable vinegars that are just unbelievable. So they have oil and vinegar that's all refillable. And then if you want to check out some more information, we have more information on my website, regenlives.com. I have a blog there that's a great resource. I have a couple blog posts on zero waste to go zero waste. My Instagram account, I give lots of tips, sometimes on zero waste. Facebook page and Twitter also, if you would like to follow us and get some more information. You can also contact me on my website. There's a contact button if you've got any questions or you'd like to know more or any of that. So I would like to thank you so much for listening to this presentation, and I hope it inspires you to make changes. I hope I've given you enough information that you know where to start. Start with goal 1, stick with it for a month, then go on to goal 2. Thank you very much.